I occasionally get comments in my channel from people who are interested in collecting math books, not just using them. In my case, I'm sort of like a dual use. So I use them. I mean, for example, this book I've used a lot, and hopefully someday I'll use this book. But sometimes I actually collect them. And so, and I'm not going to use them. I mean, this book is written in German. I don't really, I would have to use a dictionary. It'd be very, very unwieldy for me to learn anything from this book. So in this video, I'm going to go through some basic things about what I call a math book collection. I'm going to try to put it all into one video. I'm sure that I could have broken it up into multiple videos, but I always like to start on something new with a sample video that basically says, this is what I can say about it. And then you guys and girls will hit me in the comments. You think there's more to this that I can talk about? I'll make some other videos in the future, but if not, this will probably be the first and last. So a math book collection, all right? And also I want to be cognizant of my my phone subscribers. So I'm gonna zoom in and I'll remember to zoom out. I think I'm getting a little better at that. So what are the parameters of a math book collection? Now, to put it in context, I've been a stamp collector for now 50 years. Yeah, 50 years and a little more. So when we're talking about collecting, I can say a lot of things just from the stamp collecting world. So in the case of books, what are the parameters? So I think the goal of what you want to do with your math book collection, then how much space you have and how much money you have, and then also country availability. Depending on which country you're in, I think there's a function there of what are the books that are available in your specific country. Now, in my case, my goal has been mostly utilitarian, and then I've mixed it in a little bit with fun and curiosity. So I like books with a story. So for example, this book is mentioned in Serisky, Commutative Algebra. Yeah, Serisky Commutative Algebra is the first commutative algebra book. So that I thought that was interesting. And then space. We live in a small house, so my space is limited. And I'll try to find a link of somebody who has a very large personal library. His library was more in the arts. He had the Loeb series of ancient Greek and Roman books, plus a bunch of other stuff. I'll try to find it. It's a very interesting video. I'll link it in this video in the description. So yeah, cost. I'm on a budget. And what do I use? I use eBay and Amazon, a mixture of them. So where's my current collection at right now? Let's zoom in again. So right now, it's really mostly the undergraduate curriculum with a few grad books. I mean, I have a few, but but really not that many. Trying to see if I find one on my shelf. Yeah, something like SL2 by Lang. I mean, definitely a graduate level book. But I would say like 90% of the books that I have are undergraduate curriculum. I've been doing, my pace has been about a bookshelf per year, but I'm slowly running out of space. And I actually am at 3.5, even though I'm 4 years in. So I'm slowing it down. And I already have a basic coverage of several fields. So once I get to that, I think I'm going to saturate as far as the utilitarian part of the collection. And if I have the space, time, and money, I may go into like just pure collecting for some things. I'm not sure. I'm not there yet, but I'm trying to make a general video. And I would say some people may want to do that. Like you may want to have a good selection of analysis books, and then you want to have like 3 shelves of them. It's up to you if you have the money and the time and the space. All right. So then the bulk of the video is really what I really want to talk about mostly is the types of books and the actual printing quality. I have made a video about having multiple editions of a book, and I'm gonna link it here. And in some cases, depending on the book, if it's famous enough, if it matters, if there's something that sometimes the publisher, I'm sorry, I hit the tripod. The publisher will just mix it up on the author and say, well, and the author will take out content. And then sometimes you're like, oh, wait, but I really wanted to see that content. So I'm going to go through this here with some examples that I have. So the main thing, and for this I'm going to zoom out. In the case of Indian prints, okay, the books that are printed in India, the math books, many of them are, and I know this from my wonderful, very large Indian community and this channel, which I love, you all. There's a, it's not just a country with a large population, it's a country with a large population of people interested in mathematics. It's both, which is wonderful. So I hear a lot of negative comments about books printed in India, and I have a different point of view. Actually, I think the ones like McGraw-Hill, like Baby Rudin, even though they're not of the best quality, I actually find them all to be readable. I have yet to see a book printed in India of the ones that are cheaper, where you can tell that the photographic plates don't have the best resolution. I've yet to have an issue where I couldn't read a number. They actually all are legible, and the binding, the perfect binding, is actually pretty good. This book has been read and has been used, and I on purpose I'm showing this specific Indian printed book, just to show that in the case of Pearson's done a really great job with the books they print in India. These books are of very high quality. The binding, again, it's a perfect binding, right? It's not signatures. But I mean, this book, I read this entire book. This book has been used. I mean, if you see how a little dark it is mostly from graphite, but some of it is just my sweat. And look, it is still, it still could be used. So actually the books printed in India, I like, and I think they're printed well. And of course, they're found at great prices. So I've got a good selection of those. The next big selection would be Springer, the German house, which I think it's owned by some big conglomerate these days. So I hear. And the quality of the printing, I know on Amazon there's a lot of comments about the printing quality of books like this one, which are modern Springer prints. The older ones, like this Halmas book, are signature bound. They're really, really high quality printing. I mean, see right there, those signatures? See how it's all like, this is a really high quality binding. This book will last 1,000 years. I'm serious. And so, yes, I do love the older Springer books a lot. These are some of the highest quality bindings in the business. But at the same time, I have not had any problem with these books. I haven't had that. And I actually have problems with some of the major printers like Wiley and I forget what others, where I know in physics back in the 90s, yeah, it was in the 90s, I had books just completely come apart when I was taking a class. Yeah, and I have not that happen with the binding, the modern binding for Wiley. I really like it. Many of these books are Amazon printed, and I love them. They're made very affordable. A lot of them are in the $30, $40, $50 range, and I'll be buying them for a while. So I have no issues with those. Then in the case of Dover, I've got a good selection of Dover editions. Let me see if I find one behind me. I've got all my bookshelves. In the case of Dover has done an incredible job. The printing quality, the binding of perfect binding of Dover is really high quality. The paper is very high quality. The only issue with Dover books really is the notation of some of the older books. And that's got nothing to do with printing quality. And I'm talking about printing quality here. So Dover, great and very cheap. So I love that. Then in the case of self-published books, got a couple here. In the case of self-published books, these also, like the Dover books, are actually pretty good, perfect binding printings. The case of the books by J. Cummings, even though I've said in my videos about these books that to me they're a little bigger than I would like. I wish they were more this size or perhaps a little smaller, and the font could be a lot smaller. I'd be happier, but that's just me. But yeah, this binding's pretty good. I have not used J. Cummings' books, but yeah, these bindings are pretty good, very high quality. And for example, a good example is my hammock copy because this book has been used as a reference by me beyond reading the whole book, and I've used it a lot. And so it's withstood, yeah, a lot of heavy use. So this is actually a very nice, perfect printed book. Then I'll go to the majors. And for the majors, I have, oh, and of course, I wanted to mention also the whole issue of library issued books for people who are collecting. Some people frown upon having these books. I don't really care. I actually, the one thing that I really like about library books that have been taken out of the library and sold, the library occasionally will say, well, let's just pick a few books that nobody has used for a while and get rid of them. And so then they sell them, they give them away or sell them. I don't know what they do, but they eventually end up in one of these booksellers on eBay. And I have found that these books are great to have if I want to just have the book. I'm not collecting it to have a pristine copy that doesn't have anything attached. Libraries do a lot of stuff to their books for their own cataloging purposes. But these usually come out very high quality. Sometimes I roll the dice on eBay. I'll talk about it at the end of the video. And if I get a library book, even though it comes with like 10 different tags, I'm actually happy because that usually means the book does not have any underlining. Okay, library books, as a rule, very rarely will any library book, I have a few, have any underlining, and I love that about library books. So then for the majors, which is really the last bit of what I'm talking about today, the majors, be they old books or new books, usually they're hardbound, often hardbound, and they're of very high quality. The older, the better. Like these older books, I mean, yeah, this binding could last. It's just like the old Springer bindings. This binding could last 1,000 years too. Very good binding. So the older books that are hardbound, yeah, really good bindings. The old school, of course, this one somebody wrote a lot. The newer ones, it's fine. I mean, I have actually used this book, and the binding is pretty good too. One last mention is the Cambridge books. I've got a few of those, and the Cambridge books are perfect bound, and the binding is also very high quality. So actually, I haven't found a single case of a publisher that I would avoid because of the quality of the binding. And then I'll finish the video with how I find my books. Amazon reviews, I read the reviews. I have found some really good recommendations in the reviews and the searches themselves. My wonderful subscribers, I routinely get a lot of recommendations for books. I use those. It has happened many times. I'm going to say a good 10 times by now, where somebody recommended a book. I looked it up and I was like, oh, it just happens to be that I really need this book within the next 6 months as a reference or just to have it in my collection. And I've actually bought the book within like 5 minutes of the person recommending it. And then Reddit recommendations are also very reliable. One thing about reliability of the recommendations that I find, and this is for anybody who's looking to have a small math book collection, I find them to be really reliable. I mean, if somebody has enjoyed using a book for a class or reading a book for self-learning, I mean, it's very reliable that will be a good book. So, okay, there you have it. That's all I have to say. Hit me in the comments if you think there's something else that I missed. I'll try to hit it up in the comments. And if it's a big enough topic, I'll leave it for some other video in the future. But I doubt that. I think this is going to be it. And I'll try to find the link. I'll try to find the link to that person who had an incredibly wonderful home library of books.